This morning, most of you will get out of bed. You will go to the washroom, you'll make your way to the kitchen, and eventually you will go to work or school. And during all of this, you'll follow a hallway, walk through a door, climb some stairs, probably not thinking about it at all. Now imagine having to rely on sounds rather than vision to help you navigate through the spaces you live and work. That's the concept of Maxim Mauricette's architecture thesis. Sean, also known as DJ Subliminal, created a new way of designing space using sound. He made the spaces invisible, only defined by what a person hears. Does that sound far-fetched? Let Subliminal explain.
This place is pretty nice, though.
That's all right.
Hey, that's kind of new. You hear that?
What?
Hello?
Hello?
Echo?
Yeah. Hello?
Hello? Would you believe me if I told you that what you just heard were two people discovering an invisible form of architecture? What's up, y'all? I go by DJ/MC Subliminal, and in my 5th year in the architectural program at the University of Toronto, I created a form of architecture based not on what you see, rather what you hear. Basically, what prompted me to investigate this was my knowledge of music and DJing and surround sound technology and microphone technology and sampling technology. And I always found that music is such an interactive medium that if architecture could ever learn to embrace this medium, it would be most interactive and extremely exciting. Music for me is the universal language, and if I could find a way to base my architecture on music, which is sound, which is frequency, which is a wavelength, then I could actually create a universal form of architecture. Basically, after doing numerous experiments and tests with sound and people's reactions to sound and the psychology behind sound and the microphone technology, I found a way to translate some of the main architectural elements that we as architects use in our design to create and manipulate spaces. For example, we use walls and a ceiling to sort of help define a space many a times. I found that a way that I could use a sound to create this space is to not have the person just have the sound to the left of them or to the right of them, to have the sound above them, below them, around them, completely engulfed within the sound, having the sound define a space. An example of this is when you go to a nightclub and the dance floor is usually the focus, where all the speakers and the sound is focused. That becomes the main mode of attention. I mean, I would argue that you could remove all the walls within a nightclub and still have a clearly defined space just by using minimum 4 speakers. Also, as architects, we also use color. Basically, I found that different colors have different sounds that can be associated with them, different frequencies. Basic example, what comes to mind when you think of the blues? Now I got you thinking. Where would this occur? This is a totally hypothetical situation and proposal. But if it was to be built, I would propose that my sound spaces would occur along the southern edge of Grenadier Pond, High Park. Basically, there would be a series of 7-foot-high concrete columns that are laid out across the southern edge of Grenadier Pond in a perfect grid, 3 meters by 3 meters apart. Within each of these concrete columns are nestled 5 speakers and 5 microphones in each of these columns. All right, we're talking like hundreds of columns, and you walk through this grid of columns, and as you make your way through, you make sounds and you may snap and you may clap, and you'll hear the rooms that are created, these invisible rooms. Certain columns will be activated and certain ones will not, and this is how I recreate an acoustical structure, which actually is very poetic in the way that it will change depending on how the seasons change and the activity levels within High Park change. What made me want to do this? Part of it is because I've always been told, Subliminal, there's no way for you to marry your two worlds. There's no way for you to bring together your music and your DJing and your hip hop with your architecture. And here I am trying to prove my critics and friends and relatives and classmates and professors, everybody that doubted it, trying to prove them wrong and say, you know what? Music is an art, architecture is an art. Music has harmony, rhythm, timing. Architecture has harmony, rhythm, timing. All of these things are inherent in architecture. There's a distinct link between the two. And all I've tried to do was not be ignorant to other modes of design. And I found this through hip-hop, through DJing, through what happens when you give somebody a microphone, through the way people react. That's what makes my architecture pulse. It's like I always say, when you innovate and create, you never have to worry about keeping up with the times. Rather, the times have to keep up with you. I'm out. Peace.
Sean Maxim Mauricette just graduated from architecture at the University of Toronto. His project, Sound Spaces, along with his classmates' work, is on display from tonight through the 3rd of August at the Faculty of Architecture. You can meet Sean tonight, if you'd like to, there between 6:30 and 8 p.m.
On the Gardner, we still have a delay in the westbound.